In a world where the young often feel burdened by the weight of the past, a timeless tale emerges of filial piety and the enduring bond between a son and his aged mother. Set against the backdrop of a rapidly changing society, this narrative explores the complexities of family dynamics, the sacrifices made for loved ones, and the profound impact of tradition on the human spirit.
Long, long ago in Japan, there lived at the foot of the mountain a poor farmer and his aged, widowed mother. They owned a bit of land which supplied them with food, and they were humble, peaceful, and happy. The province where they lived was called Hitachi. The governor of Hitachi was a warrior, and he hated anything that was weak or frail. One day, he issued a horrible proclamation. All of the old people in the province must be put to death. There is no place in Hitachi, he decreed, for those who take and do not give. Old people take and give nothing back. I will not put up with this anymore. In those days, it was not uncommon to leave very old people alone to die. But to command this to happen all at once for all the old people in Hitachi was even more cruel. The poor farmer loved his aged mother dearly, and the order filled his heart with sadness. What do I care who takes and who gives, thought the son. I love my mother, and that's all I care about. But no one ever thought twice about disobeying an order of the governor. And so, with many deep sighs, the youth prepared for what at that time was considered the kindest mode of death. At sundown, when his day's work was ended, the young farmer took a quantity of rice, which was the main food of the poor. He cooked and dried it and tied it in a square cloth. He swung the bundle around his neck along with a gourd filled with cool, sweet water. Then he lifted his helpless old mother to his back and started on a long, painful journey up the mountain. The road was long and steep. It was crossed and recrossed by many paths made by hunters and woodcutters. One path or another, it mattered not to the young man, as long as he went up. On he went, ever upward towards the high bare top of what is known as Obatsuma, the mountain of abandoning the aged. The eyes of the old mother were not so dim to at least notice the reckless hastening. Her loving heart grew anxious. Her son did not know the mountain's many paths, and his return might be dangerous for him. So she stretched forth her hand and snapped the twigs from brushes as they passed. Then quietly, she dropped a handful every few steps of the way, so that as they climbed, the narrow path behind them was dotted at frequent intervals with tiny piles of twigs. At last the summit was reached. Weary and heartsick, the youth gently set down his mother and quietly prepared a place of comfort as his last duty to the loved one. Gathering fallen pine needles, he made a soft cushion and tenderly lifted his old mother onto it. He wrapped her padded coat more closely about the stooping shoulders. With tearful eyes and an aching heart, he said farewell. The trembling mother's voice was full of unselfish love as she gave her last advice. The mountain road is full of dangers, my son, she said. Look carefully and follow the path that tracks the piles of twigs. They will guide you down. The son's surprised eyes looked back over the path, and then at the poor old, shriveled hands, all scratched and soiled by their work of love. His heart broke. Bowing to the ground, the son cried out, "Oh, honorable mother, your kindness breaks my heart. I will not leave you. Together we will follow the path of twigs, and if together we must die, so be it." How light she seemed now! He hastened down the path, through the shadows and the moonlight, to the little hut in the valley. Beneath the kitchen floor was a walled closet for food, which was covered and hidden from view. There, the son hid his mother, giving her everything she needed, always watching and fearing she would be discovered. Time passed. He was beginning to feel safe when again the governor sent forth heralds bearing an order that seemed almost absurd. It was as if the governor, making an impossible demand only as a boast of his power. His demand was that his subjects should present him with a rope of ashes.